Good afternoon, my people. Good afternoon. How are you? How are you? Hope all is well. I hope everybody had a great start to Hump Day. I'm here to help you guys and start out this session with congratulations. You've made it to the introduction of home buying. I, Maurice Nelson, will be helping you out. The master closer is in the building. Yes, he is. And we're going to start out with simple things. Um, let's see. Let's start with rent versus own. First and foremost, before we even go there, I want to talk about how many people haven't realized to this day that owning a house is way better than renting a house. Way better. So much more advantages of home ownership. So much more home advantages. I mean, like, if I can list them all, I would. Trust me, I would. But I can't list them all. So that's why we're here to talk about it. Answer any questions that you might need. I know that, pardon me one second, I want to make sure that everybody sees this. I want to make sure that we all are here and we're all able to basically be in session. So, a lot of things coming out of a lot of reasons why people don't buy. Well, one major reason is just being scared, man. You know, just being scared. Let's just call it what it is. It's just being scared. People don't realize how much advantages they have if they just conquer their fears. And that goes with anything in life, man. I mean, come on now. You and I both know that there's certain fears that people just won't do. Like I don't do snakes. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't do snakes. I see a snake. Sorry, from New York. I'm not dealing with it. Not. It's not in my realm. I don't deal with snakes. I call somebody up, come get the snake, and they bring it out. But hey, that doesn't mean I won't go over my friend's house because he doesn't own a snake. I mean, because he owns a snake, I'd go over there. You know, so that just basically means you have to conquer your fears. You have to get off the fence. You have to make sure that you, as an individual, won't let fear conquer your next move to greatness or financial wealth. So, what I mean by that, a lot of people are scared to just see where they're at. But in order for you to purchase a home, you got to have a plan, man. Because this isn't easy. This isn't like something that just comes out of thin air and just like, hey, I'm just gonna go buy a house and it works. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Home buying is stressful. It's hard, but at the end of the day, it's so much more rewarding when you're eventually when you get there, when you do it, when you actually turn the keys to that house, man. You turn the keys and say, hey, this is mine. The only person that can kick you out is if you don't pay your mortgage. It's yourself. You know? Um, so that's what we got to conquer first. People are sitting here paying rent, and rent is crazy, man. I remember my first apartment. It was in New York. It was a basement, and I was paying $1,000 a month for a two-bedroom basement apartment. And that wasn't a shack, but like it was still in the basement. And we're sitting here paying $1,000 a month. That's 12,000 a year. That's going to nothing. And I'm living in the basement. Let's speed up till today. You have people right now. Oh, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna rent. I'm just gonna sit and write out my lease and just sign another lease because it's easy. What's wrong with today's society, or I shouldn't say what's wrong, that's a bad choice of words. The bad way of thinking is that complacency, man. People are happy with the easy. I'd rather sit here because I'm used to renting, so I'm just going to continue to do it. No, man. Rent right now, I know, and I can speak for a lot of homeowners. They got investment properties or they got an apartment. Anytime that rent goes up in the neighborhood, I'm raising the rent. And guess who's going to pay for that? My tenant. It is what it is. It is what it is. If the market allows it, the landlord is going to force you to pay more money. And you're going to say, I can't afford this. And then your rent's going to nothing. There's people out there right now renting out houses for $2,500, $3,000 a month. Sometimes $4,000 a month. Could you imagine cutting a check for $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 a month every single month, and it's going to absolutely nothing. Going to nothing. Going to nothing. So my goal is to teach you guys how to make your money work for yourself. Because there's too many people out there without the knowledge on how to do so. Okay? You own it, it's going to be so much better for you. So much better for you. I got a closing this evening with a young gentleman. I'm definitely not going to mention his name, but he gets it. Young man, well spoken, got his head on straight, got a nice little job on him, and he's doing well for himself. I love to see the younger generation really get it. They get it early, so they'll be able to live much more prosperous lives. He's already got a 5-year plan. Say, hey, Mo, this is not my last house. I'm buying another one in 5 years. I'm buying another one in 5 years. Me and my girlfriend, we're going to get married and we're going to buy another house in 5 years. All right, young man. Get it. Because that's what it's all about. And, a lot of people think, when they buy a home, it's forever. They're stuck in the mortgage for 30 years. They're stuck in the mortgage for 30 years. Let me tell you something, man. I've got repeat clients that bought, sold, bought again, sold, bought again. I repeat, bought, sold, bought, sold, and bought again. So that means it's not their last house. It's not the end all be all. You're not trapped. You're not paying any crazy prepayment penalties that you're nervous about. No, they're going to go buy another house because it fits their lifestyle. They upgraded. They downgraded. They just didn't like the area. It was getting a little crazy. There's violence. Cars getting stolen. So they chose to move to another neighborhood. It's whatever suits you. Whatever works out for you. Pardon the lighting. The lighting is a little bad in here. I'm trying to make it a little better, but we'll do better next time. We're going to put that on the pad. So, with that being said, we want to make sure we get off the fence. Get off the fence. Buy a home. It works. There is no better investment than a house. I repeat, there is no better investment than a house. People think 401k might be the best long term. No. People think stocks might be the best investment. No. Not saying these are bad investments, but it's not the most secure. America was built off of real estate. Was built. We're not going to get into the dynamics on who did what, who built what. But it was built off of real estate. Land. People were buying land. People were selling land. People were buying all types of stuff. There was no apartments back then. You know, people just bought and sold land. So that's what they do. They still do it. You got these builders coming out here building up all over Texas, all over. You see a Walmart, you see a builder. They go hand in hand. Anytime you see a Walmart, you see a builder. It just happens. It just happens. Wally World knows it better than us. They say, we're gonna. A lot of traffic is going around here. We're gonna make sure that we put a Walmart here. And then a builder comes in, sells the house. Real estate. It is what it is. So those of you sitting in apartments, you have to think to yourself, every month you're cutting a check. And you're going to pay utilities regardless of wherever you live. You're going to pay lights. You're going to pay water, trash, taxes. It is what it is. You're going to pay that. Sorry, that's things I can't get around. But what you can control is where your money gets spent. So, for all you know, you're paying this landlord $2,500. Landlord might not even have a mortgage on the property. Do, 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 do. But that's not your business. Your business is to pay the rent. So now the landlord is just getting free money. Hey, he says to his wife, or the wife says to her husband, babe, let's take the kids to Disney World this year. Because I'm making money off of the rent. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I'd rather, say, hey, I'm making this mortgage payment. I wish somebody would tell me I gotta go. Because they're selling that house that you lived in there for 5 years paying rent. I wish somebody would tell me that. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. This is all you. You have the power. You have the power to really do things. To really put yourself in a position to where you can move forward in life. Help yourself out. Do the right things. Do the right things. Try to put yourself in a position to whereas, okay, I need to go talk to a loan officer, a realtor, and figure this out. Especially if you have children. Especially if you have children. They grow, man. They want their own space. You know how these teenagers are. They loved you when they was like 7, 8 years old. Now they want to go hang out with the homies or their homegirls. They want to go hang out. That's what they do. Hey, I did it. I'm a big mama's boy. My friends will tell you, I'm a big mama's boy. And at the end of the day, I want to go hang with my friends. I turned 13. I was I want to go hang with my friends. I used to get in trouble for staying out too late, hanging with my friends. That's what used to happen. These kids get big. They want their own space. Thank God my mother, God bless her, she had her own house when I was a child. So I had my own room. She lived down the hallway, which was great. I didn't have somebody walking on top of me. Neighbors walking, hitting playing their music really loud. I play my music loud. My mother used to yell at me for that. That's another story. But I didn't have all that. We didn't have to fight for a parking spot. We had our own garage. Yeah, you can get that stuff if you're renting a house. But my mother it was basically a 2-family house. She rented out another part of it. She was paying for half the mortgage. It was paying for half the mortgage. So all my mother had to do was make up the other half and spoil her kids rotten, which she did. God bless you, Mom. Thank you for that. Which she did. Willingly. I'm telling you, man. It's definitely a real thing. So, now that we covered that, get off the fence, people. Now we got to talk about reality now, okay? We've talked about getting off the fence, talked about buying versus renting. We talked about 2000 a month going nowhere. We got to get into reality. This is when it gets real. Me, I like nice things. I love nice things, ladies and gentlemen. I love nice things. I'm not pretty much into big name brand, but hey, I wouldn't mind a nice Gucci shirt. I wouldn't mind some J's, some Jordans. You know, my wife is not big on that, but she ain't gonna turn down a diamond. I'll tell you that. And she shouldn't. Why shouldn't she? Shoot. But I like nice things, but I'm practical with my things. You know, I want a Lambo. You know, we could easily cook up the money for it, but is it a smart investment? No, no. I have a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old he probably would love it if I'm flying down the block. But is that smart? No. Forget the ticket. We can die. We can die. So, what I mean by that, let's be practical on what you can afford. I always ask my clients when I first speak to them, one of the very first questions I ask, how much do you think you can spend per month? What's your maximum that you can spend per month? That tells me everything. Because a person is going to tell me, I don't want to spend more than 1,800. Okay. Well, where are you looking? I'm looking in the Frisco area. I'm looking in, Little Elm and stuff like that. I don't want to spend more than 1,800. Now, for those who don't know where Frisco and Little Elm is, or, those are the more, I would say, more affluent. The values are pretty strong. Home values are pretty strong out there. Very, very, very nice school systems. Very nice school systems. It's well kept. Lawns are manicured. People are playing outside. You don't have to worry too much about robberies. I mean, robberies happen everywhere, but the crime is very low over there. And who wouldn't want to live there? I mean, hey, Jerry World is there. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. It's a whole nother conversation. We'll talk about the Cowboys another day. But it definitely happens in Frisco. It's a nice place. But you ain't paying 1,800. Nope. Nope. You're not paying 1,800. In fact, I gotta take a sip of coffee on that one. You're not paying $1,800 a month in Frisco. So you have to be practical. You have to be practical with what you want to buy. Nobody wants to commute 8,000 miles away from your job. Nobody wants to drive that far. People doing construction everywhere. You get screws and nails in your tires. It's bad. But you have to be practical with what's in your pocket and what's out there. So when I ask you that, I don't know what's on your credit report until I pull it. So when I see your credit report, as a lender, the first thing that any lender wants to do before he does anything on a file is pull your credit. People, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody fits in a box. Everybody fits in a box. Everyone. Now, it's up to the lender to make sure he can maneuver inside that box. If you fit outside the box, we got to teach you how to get in the box. That's another day. So the first thing we're going to do is pull your credit. And we're going to get into credit another day. But the first thing we're going to do is pull your credit. We're going to see what, what's on there, man. We need to know. We need to know. I mean, you gotta understand here. There's a lot of money being involved when buying a house. You guys' lives are at risk, and we're getting ready to loan you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yes, we want to know everything, everything, down to the children. We want to know everything. So we can make sure we put you in the best program available for you. That is the whole goal. That is everything. We want to put you in the best situation possible. Best one. So with that being said, we also want to do things to whereas we want your reality to match with your credit report too. So, you ever heard the phrase big eyes, small pockets? We got to shrink them eyes so the pockets can get bigger. We don't want to go out there, we want the 5-bedroom house, 4 baths, jacuzzi, Olympic sized pool, spending $1,800 a month. It's not going to happen. We want to make sure you have reality, you know? We want to make sure you have reality with it. You come to terms with what you're buying. But we also want you to be comfortable. We don't want you to buy any old house. Because listen, hey, I'll tell you what. We live in Texas, concealed carry state, sort of like the Wild Wild West, but it's not. I want everybody to own a pistol, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I don't want you to feel like, hey, I'm nervous getting my groceries in the car just to put them inside my own house. I don't want you to feel like that. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to be comfortable with what you buy. So when you get out of your car, you go in your house, and the only thing that you're mad at is, darn it, I dropped my keys while I'm bringing in all these bags to open up the door to your own house. That's the only thing I want. It's the only thing I want. The only thing I want for you. The only thing I want for your family. That's it. So we have to be realistic with what we're purchasing. Okay? We want to make sure that you're getting in a house that's not falling apart. That's number one. We don't want a house that you have to dump money in. Who wants to go spend money on closing costs, down payment, jump through all these hoops, and then 5 months later, they're dumping money in it? And this is when a realtor is key. It's when a realtor is key. Don't think you're going out there buying a house by yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm talking to you. Don't do it. Don't think you're going out there with all the knowledge because you've been Googling. No. You're going to be in for a rude awakening. So we want to save you the time on doing that. I'm tired of seeing y'all people going out there on Google thinking hey, it's going, I seen this house. And I'm about to spend, I'm about to come out there, it's 270,000. I'm gonna offer him 240. And think you're gonna get that house. It's not gonna happen. Gotta be realistic. Gotta be realistic. Be realistic with yourself. Come to terms with it. It's not a car dealership. You're not gonna be sitting here back and forth Jimmy jazzing. This is what a realtor is for. Realtors are there to protect you. Keep in mind, if you're buying a house, you don't pay the realtor nothing. That's for the seller. That's the seller's responsibility. You don't pay the realtor nothing. So it don't cost you nothing to deal with a realtor. Anybody tell you different, you don't listen to them. And don't listen to Uncle Matt, Auntie from down the block that bought a house 20 years ago. Don't listen to none of them. You know why? None of them have a license to do what they do. None of them have been to classes on a regular basis. When I mean regular basis, continuing education, none of them have done that. Be realistic with yourself. Talk to a professional. They'll tell you, hey, this is not the house for you. Let's be realistic. It's not the house for you. We want to make sure we get the house for you. Not for the person down the block, not for the person up the street, not for the person that lives in the next town over. So we don't want to hear about what your auntie and uncle did. Because that's not you. You're not using their credit report. They're not using your pay stubs. They're not using what's in your bank account to qualify you. It's not them. It's not the aunties and uncles that are buying the house. You are. So try not to get all this outside advice. I know we all like to listen to the people and say, hey, we want to listen to what you got to say, auntie. We all want to listen to what they got to say. We love our family's advice. But a lot of time, it's wrong information. Then I say, shoot, you might as well Google it if you're going to do all that. And that's not going to be the best move for you. So you got to be realistic with yourself. Make sure, hey, you line out your bills, because this is going to be some bills that you pay that don't come up on your credit report. When you watch Netflix, that ain't coming up on your credit report. Hulu ain't coming up on your credit report. HBO Max, Showtime, and whatever, Apple Plus, that's not coming up on your credit report. You going out to eat, you go to Ruth Chris with your spouse, that's not coming up on your credit report. If you like to do whatever every single month, that's not coming up on your credit report. The only thing that's coming up on your credit report, your credit cards, your student loans, any installment loans, any personal loan that you have, any kind of loan. You got a loan, it's coming up. Okay? And your cars. And if you have a mortgage already. Those are the only items that are coming up on your credit report. Everything else is, if you guys are worried about your medical bills, get rid of that. Nobody cares about medical bills anymore. Nobody cares about them. That's your business. And we'll get into that in another conversation. So you have to be realistic with yourself on what's on that credit report. Now, once you're realistic with yourself, then you can map out a little budget and talk to a professional. Talk to a professional. And that'll be people like me. We are loan officers. Our job is to assess somebody's credit report, compare it to what their income is, and come out with a battle plan that'll be best beneficial for you. Anybody that says otherwise are looking for that quick paycheck. It's not good. Not good. We want to make sure that we put you in a situation that's beneficial for you and your household. We don't want you to get in the house and you can't afford the couch or can't afford a bed for your kids. Working backwards, man. We want you to be in a position to whereas, okay, Mr. Maurice, Mr. Master Closer that you say you are, we want to make sure that you are putting yourself in a situation that is good for your household, is good for your bank account, and is good for your future. So once we come to terms with that, and I say, hey, are you comfortable with paying X, Y, and Z? You say, you know what, Maurice, I could swing that. Okay. Can you swing it, or can you do it? I don't know, I still feel a little iffy about the payment. Okay. Clearly this isn't the house for you. But let's work on how we can get to where you need to be. Because clearly you want to be in that type of house. So let's work on it. Maybe it's not the time to buy yet. Maybe you're expecting a raise in about 6 months. Maybe your situation can be different in the next 3 months. Maybe if we eliminate some of these bills that you might have, it'll be better for you. Now let's talk about This is this is a big one. This is a big one. Let's talk about that credit. Let's talk about it. This is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the credit. I mean, man, I've probably pulled, I don't know, I want to say 100,000 credit reports in my time. I've seen it all. I've seen the worst of the worst. I've seen the best of the best. It's a fact. It's a fact. I've seen it all. So, there's nothing that you're going to be able to hide from me when I pull it. I'm going to see it. I'm going to be able to address it within seconds. Unless it's really big. I know how to fix it. I know how to do a quick fix. I know how to do the long fix. But you guys have to be aware of what a credit report really entails. Now, there's two different types of credit reports. Yeah, I'm gonna need some coffee for this one. Two different types. There is the Vantage score, and there's a FICO score. I repeat, there is a Vantage score and a FICO score. You guys better be writing this down. This is free game. Again, a Vantage score and a FICO score. And FICO is in all caps. FICO. Vantage, spell it how you want. Not advantage, Vantage. Okay. Now, Credit Karma uses the Vantage score model. And a lot of people use Credit Karma, and there's nothing wrong with using it. It's a good credit monitoring system. It's actually excellent. It's pretty damn good. There's nothing wrong with on your credit. If you're doing everything that you're supposed to do when it involves your credit, and you have great credit, Credit Karma is not going to lie to it. It's probably going to give you pretty accurate scores. Pretty accurate credit score. It's going to be pretty close to what we pull. We pull the FICO scores. That means we're digging deep. We've known everything about your life, basically, through a credit report. Any type of credit you've had. I don't care if you were 2. Well, I do care if you're 2. If you're 18 and you pulled out a credit card and you paid it off, we see it. We see when you pulled that out in 1990 something. Yes. Sometimes it falls off your credit. It does happen. A lot of times, still there. But there's a Vantage score and a FICO score. Now, one thing about what I've noticed of being in the business for so long, clients, you know where your credit scores are. You know where your credit is. You may not know the actual score itself, but you know where your credit is. You know if you've been paying your bills on time. You know if you missed. You know. So anybody tells me that, I don't know. Meaning, you don't know if you pay your bills on time. Things happen in life. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Things happen in life. Mom gets sick. Husband gets sick. Wife gets sick. Kids get sick. Kids sometimes do crazy things and you have to help them. Uncle Joe done robbed me. Thank God I don't have Uncle Joe, but you get my point. Things happen in life. So you guys know. My point to that is, when you're looking at a Vantage score and you're half and half on your credit, like you've paid your bills, but like something happened and it's not A1, you're like stuck in the middle, It's going to pull a totally different score than what I pull. Totally different. I can't tell you how many times a borrower has come to me and say, hey, I've got a 650 credit score. I got a 640 credit score. My score is in the 600s. And I pull it, and it's in the mid 500s. Sometimes under 500. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Again, I pulled hundreds of thousands of credit reports. I've been doing this for a long time. Long time. And it's 90% the way I'm telling you. The other 10%, sometimes, I'm human. I'm wrong. Borrower says he got 700 credit scores. They tell me, they checked on Credit Karma. I'm like, okay, let's see what the real score is. And it is 700 scores. You know why? Because that borrower knows their credit. They're very confident about it. Like I said, when you usually pay your bills on time and you do everything you're supposed to do, you keep your credit card balances low. You pay them on time. Sometimes 15 days early. Sometimes as soon as you make the swipe, you go pay it. Sometimes you knock your personal loan down, if it was due in a year, sometimes you pay it off in six months. Those type of things are going to boost your credit scores up. Credit Karma is going to see that and give you some real good, vantage score points. So when it comes to me and I see it, I'm like, oh, okay. This person telling the truth. No doubt. Let's do it. But I'm not calling people liars. Please understand what I'm saying. You just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. A car company is going to pull a totally different credit scores than I will. Credit card companies are going to be pulling a totally different report than I pull. They don't use Vantage Score either. They use FICO scores. But mortgage is the hardest thing to impact on your credit. You miss a car payment, you might drop 50 to 75 points. You miss a mortgage payment, you most likely drop 75 to 100 points. It's a big deal when you miss a mortgage payment because you committed. You committed strong. You wrote on the dotted. You signed a bunch of papers. I'll show you later on this evening. We got closing this evening. I'll show you. Signed a bunch of papers. You're saying you're going to commit to paying this mortgage for the next 30 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 10 years, however long you choose to have it. Whatever you can afford. That's how long that mortgage note is. So we want to make sure that we have the correct FICO scores and the accurate FICO scores. I'm not using Credit Karma ever. When we do loans, and I show an underwriter, I cannot show them Credit Karma. I cannot. They will laugh at me. They'll say, Maurice, what are you doing? What are you doing? In fact, it must be April Fool's Day. Because that's a joke. They will push the file back to me and laugh at me if I get them a Credit Karma credit report. I say this to say, ladies and gentlemen, you have to get your credit pulled by a lender. There's no getting around it. You're asking someone to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars. Please make it sink in. I'm going to say it again. You're asking somebody to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars. A random dude. Most of you guys won't even lend out $20. I'm not lending out $20. It just doesn't make sense. So if you will lend out $20 without knowing how you're going to get paid back, what makes you think I'm going to lend you hundreds of thousands of dollars? I'm not going to go off a credit report you pulled. No way. I'm not going to go off what's on your phone. No. I'm going to ask you for your social security number and your date of birth and your full address, and I'm going to pull your credit. That's what a lender does. And you want him to do that. You want him to be efficient. Or her. Because there's a lot of good female lenders out there. We want to make sure that you're giving the person accurate information. The more inaccurate you are as a person to the lender, the more his results or her results are going to be to you. You give me false information, I give you back false information. Because I'll only get what I'm dealt. Let me explain something to you. I don't put you in a home. I repeat, I don't put you in a home. You put yourself in a home. My job is to put the puzzle together. That's my job. Put the puzzle together. You got the corner piece, you put it here. You got this piece, you put it here. You do all this stuff and you put it together. I take your income, I take your assets, I take your credit report, and I make it one. Don't blame the underwriter for not, for chopping up the file. You could blame a loan officer for having the file chopped up. Yes, you can. Good loan officer is going to ask you for everything. They're going to be real with you. They're going to ask you for everything up front. So yes, you have to do legwork. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bring me everything but the Credit Karma credit report. If we could take a blood sample by law, we probably would too. But we can't. But anything that involves finances, we're going to ask for it. I want to express that you people are very fortunate to be living the lives that you are living. You guys are blessed. Blessed. Beyond every day you wake up, you are blessed. Realize your potential in your purses, in your wallets, and your bank accounts. Get out of the rent race. It's a hamster wheel that never stops unless you jump off the hamster wheel. You ever seen a hamster in a wheel? It's sad just to watch them spin around, spin around, spin around. They're not going anywhere. Let them out the cage. Let them explore life. And the only way you can do that is by owning a home. You're sitting in this rent house wondering, is this it? In fact, I'm going to just, do the most and go downstairs, drop my kid off at, the corner of these apartment buildings and wait for this school bus to come pick him up. I mean, you could buy a house around the school and walk him there. Or her. You could buy a house in that nice school zone. You can do it. But you have to get off the fence. Like I talked about at the beginning of the conversation. You have to get off the fence. You have to figure out what is best for you. I'm tell you what, me as the closer I am, I'm going to make sure I'm making my life's work that I give you the knowledge, the know-how, the will, the perseverance, and the ability to close on any house that you want. We just have to figure out how to get there. We want to be in these nice neighborhoods where, your kid goes to school, you don't have to worry. Even though this Uvalde thing, that's a whole nother story. But we want to make it as less stressful for you as possible. I'm getting in my random part of the session because I feel like you guys are owed this. I want to put you guys in a scenario to whereas you're operating from strength and not a weakness. If you're renting, you're operating from a weakness from the start. Don't think also, you know, this is for you millennials or not even millennials anymore. For the people that's just getting out. What if you got a 19-year-old or a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old, somebody just coming home from college, and you want them to get in my house. You don't want your kid to come home and rent. You want to put them in the house, and they got good credit. You know you don't even need rental history. You know that. You don't need it. It's good to have it. But you don't need it. And don't get me wrong. I'd rather see good rental history. I'd rather see good 12 months straight rent history on time. You paid your rental time for 12 months, no doubt. That's good to have. I'd rather have it. Makes the file stronger for me. I can't tell you how many files I've closed when client had no rent history. None. Never rented a day in their life. Live with mom. Live with their pops. Dad said, you know what, you go get your own house. Kid said, all right. I ain't got no money, Dad. I'll help you. Don't worry about it. Just go get approved. Kid comes to me, gets approved. Well, Dad, I did what you told me to do. I'm approved. But I ain't got no money to get in the house. Okay. Save the money up for some furniture. Kid busts his tail. Or her tail. Busted their tail. Saves up a good 10, 15 grand. Comes back to me. Hey, remember you said I was approved before? Yeah. I'm ready. I'm really ready now. So we push him through underwriting. Dad comes through. Drops the money in the bank. Boy, you know it. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, he's a homeowner. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And getting with the right lender, that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part. I'm not gonna lie to you. Getting with the right lender is the tricky part. Because one thing you don't want to be treated like is a number. A number. How many times you call somebody? Let's suppose you called, I don't know. You call to check your insurance agent or something, or you call insurance company, you call State Farm or whatever these big companies are. You call these big companies that you see on TV all the time, and you got to deal with if you would like to speak with the representative, or you'd like to speak to human resources, or you'd like to speak to this, please say this. And then you say it, and then they repeat themselves again. Or press 1 if you want to speak to a sales rep. You press 1, speak to a sales rep. Lady picks up, says, okay, you want to apply for a house. You speak to the sales rep, then you give them all your information, and you never speak to them again. But you just gave them all your information. But you trust these people. You trust these people because they're on TV. They're during the game. Sitting there watching the game. I'm watching basketball. I'm watching LeBron do his thing. I'm watching, Steph Curry shoot their eyes out. And then they jump to commercial. And then the lender's on the TV. And then you say, hey, let me give him a call. And you call him. You speak to that, that sales rep. That one time. Never speak to him again. That's scary, man. That's a scary thing. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me paranoid. But, I never believed on giving my information out to people I don't know. But I had to make some kind of commitment in order to finance things. you know. So I check the people out who I'm financing from. Check them out. You know, go check them out. When I mean check them out, I do my research on that company. You know, how many complaints? And don't get me wrong. If you're a company, you're gonna have a complaint. You're not 100%. Nobody's perfect. I can't tell you, all my life nobody had a complaint about me. I'd be lying to you. But it's how you fix those mistakes. And at the same time, you can't have 100 complaints and 50 good reviews. And plus, we got to mesh. I'm a hustler. I'm a go-getter. So I want whoever I'm talking to be a hustler and a go-getter too. But I need to speak to you. When I call, listen, when I say, hey, you better pick up that phone, man. Better pick it up. Or if not, call me back. At the very least, call me back. Let me know everything's okay. Just give me my peace of mind. Even if you ain't got no news. Give me my peace of mind. You want to make sure that when you choosing your lender, you want that person to talk to you. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be talking to that person and that person only. It's crazy. You know how many calls people get, especially, how many calls I get? I can't handle everybody. So I have to have a system that works. So you may speak to my assistant sometimes. You may speak to my processor. You may even speak to my closer sometimes. Rarely. Rarely. Very, very rarely. But you will speak to my assistant, and you will speak to my processor. And you will speak to me. Because at the end of the day, the buck lies with me. Master closer, y'all. Email me, Maurice, Maurice, at redzonemortgage.com. That's Maurice at REDZONEMTG.com. I say it one more time for y'all. Maurice at REDZONEMTG.com. That's my email address. Feel to ask me what you want. No problem. Hit me up on the hip. 214-463-3938. Have no problem giving it out. I want the world to get it. 214-463-3938. 214-463-3938. Call me. No question is dumb. Hit me up. I'm here to answer anything you might need. It's time. It's time to put people in houses, man. Hopefully I was able to answer any questions you might need. It's getting on to the next session. I'm getting ready to go on IG now. Talk to y'all some more. Because I got some friends on Instagram that, some people don't even have Facebook. They say Facebook for the old people. As you can see my grays. I'm old. My salt and peppers is crazy. But I love them. I embrace them. I refuse to dye my hair. I refuse to do it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I commend y'all that stay with the black, with the old black hair, and, that don't get no raise. That's not using hair dye. But hey, I commend y'all. If y'all want my wife hook you up. My mama hook you up. Both of them hook you up. If you want to dye your hair. That's a whole other subject though. But at the end of the day, man, I hope I was able to answer any questions that you might have. I know that I wanted this to be just a straight live feed. I didn't want this, I know people might have questions during this. Please feel free to put them in the comment section. I'll answer anything you might need. But I wanted to just straight talk about it first. I'm going to be here every Wednesday, 12 o'clock sharp. Every Wednesday. So, and then we're gonna open the panel up to people. I will have, people on the panel too. We're gonna have realtors here. We're gonna have investment advisors. We're gonna have CPAs. Shoot, we might even have some attorneys, some divorce attorneys. Things happen in life. You might have to get a divorce. You might have to split it. He buys the house or she buys the house. She takes the house. Whatever. You know, um, we'll have it all. We'll do trusts. We got to put the house in a trust, or the house has been in a trust. We have to figure it out. We're gonna have a lot of people on this panel to give you their peace of mind and tell you exactly what works for them and what they can do for homeowners and individuals and people that want to get to financial freedom and put themselves in a position of power. I want that. Nothing in my heart feels better than helping someone. I have a saying: treat everybody like they're your mom. Treat everybody like they're your mom. For those of you that don't have a mom, treat everybody like you want to be treated, man. You want to be treated with respect. You want to know that your time is used right. You want to know that anything you ask will be answered. And even if that person doesn't have the answer, they will go out and find the answer. Treat people right, man. Everybody in this world knows what a good person is. Do you want to be that good person? I know I do. Because just like, there's haters in the world and they just bring more hate, I believe the same thing with love. You know, love grows as well too. All right? So, give out my information again. Follow my business page too, man. The Master Closer of All Homes. Master Closer for All Homes. Just Google it. You'll see it. Follow me on LinkedIn, Maurice Nelson. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'm going to be posting this same feed up on YouTube, so you can go check it there. Subscribe, please. All will be helped. The more people we can get this out to, the better life will be for people. The better life will be for people. Follow me, man. Follow me. Trust me when I tell you, I'm going to give you knowledge. It's all coming from here. This is from years in the business. I'm doing this for a minute. I'm not going to steer you wrong. My whole goal is to put you in a financial place. And hey, if I'm not the guy to do the loan for you, doesn't mean you still can't ask me advice. Trust me. There's plenty of business to go out there for people. Ask me. I'm here to help. I'm sorry. I have a horrible New York problem. I always say ask me. It's ask. Ask me if you feel you need to ask me, even if you're going a different way. I have no problem answering your questions, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let me give you my information again. Follow me on LinkedIn, Maurice Nelson. Follow me on YouTube, Maurice Nelson, the Master Closer for All Homes. Follow me on Facebook, IG, Master Closer 19. Follow me there. I'm here. I'm on Twitter as well. Yeah, I've been tweeting a lot lately. So come see me, man. I'm here for you. All right? Phone number 214-463-3938. Again, 214-463-3938. Or email me. MAURICE at REDZONEMTG.com. All right? It's been nice talking to y'all. Peace, one love. Master Closer out.